Imagine this. Before dawn breaks, high in the frozen Alps, men are screaming into the wind, snow swallowing entire paths, horses collapsing mid-step, elephants sliding on ice where no creature their size should exist, an army fighting the mountains more than any enemy. Hannibal Barca gambling everything as death waits at every cliff edge. But this wasn't the real madness of his campaign. It was what came after. And if that sounds insane considering Rome believed these mountains made Italy untouchable, picture this story unfolding piece by piece. Because once Hannibal descended into Italy, Rome's greatest danger was no longer the man with elephants, but what Rome refused to understand. Picture this republic at the height of its confidence, legions undefeated on Italian soil for generations, senators convinced discipline and tradition made them invincible, a system that believed no foreign general could ever truly threaten the heart of their world. And yet in 218 BC, Hannibal did the impossible, not for glory, but for surprise. Dragging a battered but unbroken army across terrain Rome never imagined an enemy would dare to cross. Imagine Roman scouts riding back with reports so unbelievable they sounded like madness. Whispers of elephants emerging from the north, warnings dismissed as panic until reality marched straight into Italy. And imagine the shock as Hannibal appeared not as a broken survivor, but as a predator who had already beaten Rome without drawing a sword. Picture this young general, raised on hatred for Rome, sworn by his father to destroy it, now standing on Roman soil studying his enemy, not rushing cities, not attacking walls, but watching how Rome reacted to fear. Because Hannibal understood that Rome's greatest weakness was not its armies, but its certainty. Imagine Rome responding exactly as Hannibal expected, legions marching aggressively north to crush an invader they believed was exhausted, only to be lured into annihilation at the Trebia River, where cold, exhaustion, and deception turned Roman discipline into chaos. Soldiers slipping on icy banks, shields waterlogged, cavalry striking from hidden angles, and confidence dissolving into slaughter. Picture the city of Rome stunned as survivors limped back with stories that shattered the myth of Roman superiority. And imagine the fear spreading through Italy as allies began to wonder if Rome could still protect them. Picture this happening again at Lake Trasimene, fog thick as death itself, Hannibal hiding an entire army in the hills, ambushing a Roman force so completely that thousands died without ever forming ranks, bodies choking the lake, an army erased in hours. And imagine the Senate realizing this enemy was not just winning battles, he was dismantling Rome's belief in itself. Imagine Hannibal refusing to march on Rome, a decision that confused his enemies and enraged his allies, because Rome expected siege warfare, not psychological warfare. And picture Hannibal instead stripping Rome of allies, exposing weakness, forcing the Republic to bleed slowly. Picture Rome raising the largest army it had ever assembled, convinced numbers would crush genius. And imagine the dust rising at Cannae in 216 BC, as over 80,000 Roman soldiers advanced, certain this time would be different. Picture Hannibal deliberately weakening his center, bending without breaking, drawing Rome inward. And imagine the moment the trap closed, cavalry smashing the flanks, infantry tightening like a noose, Roman soldiers crushed so tightly they could barely lift their swords, dying not just from wounds but from heat, panic, and exhaustion. One of the most catastrophic defeats in military history, unfolding in a single afternoon. Imagine Rome receiving the news, senators tearing their clothes, mothers screaming in the streets, temples filled with desperate prayers, and for the first time in centuries, the Republic truly believing it might die. Picture Rome in the days after Cannae, not as an empire of marble and triumph, but as a city drowning in silence. The Forum, once loud with ambition, now filled with whispers and empty stares. Lists of the dead posted in public spaces, names stretching longer than anyone could read without stopping to breathe. Entire families erased in a single afternoon. Senators who once argued about expansion, now arguing about survival. Mothers searching crowds for sons who would never return. Fathers realizing their bloodlines had ended on a distant field in southern Italy. And for the first time, Rome did not fear defeat. It feared extinction. Picture the panic spreading beyond the city. Italian allies watching Rome bleed and wondering if loyalty was now a death sentence. Garrisons feeling thinner, roads feeling unsafe, rumors traveling faster than legions. Some cities hesitating, others quietly preparing to betray Rome if Hannibal appeared at their gates. This being the moment Hannibal had engineered from the beginning. The slow unraveling of Rome's authority without ever touching its walls. And yet picture something even stranger happening beneath the fear. Because Rome did not collapse, it did not riot, it did not beg for peace. Instead it hardened. New laws passed in desperation. Old traditions revived as if the past itself could protect them. Even human sacrifices reportedly carried out not from strength, but from terror. Rome bleeding, terrified, surrounded, but still standing. And that refusal to fall becoming Hannibal's greatest and most frustrating enemy. But picture this turning point clearly, because this is where the real madness begins. The moment Rome should have changed everything and didn't. Imagine Rome refusing to negotiate, refusing to adapt its leadership, refusing to admit that Hannibal had exposed fatal flaws, choosing stubborn endurance over transformation, absorbing losses that would have destroyed any other state. Picture Hannibal waiting for Rome to collapse from fear, expecting allies to revolt, expecting the Republic to fracture, only to watch Rome do something unprecedented, learning not how to defeat him directly, but how to survive him. Imagine Rome avoiding major battles, dragging out the war, sending armies elsewhere, slowly cutting off Carthaginian support while Hannibal remained trapped in hostile territory, winning battles that no longer changed the outcome. Picture years passing, victories turning hollow, and imagine Hannibal realizing that every Roman soldier he destroyed only hardened Rome's resolve, turning pain into endurance. Picture the irony of Rome sending a young general named Scipio to Africa, forcing Hannibal to abandon Italy to defend his homeland. The hunter forced to retreat while Rome stood unbroken. Picture Zama not as a clash of monsters, but as a quiet shift of power. Rome using Hannibal's own tactics against him, defeating the greatest commander of the age by finally learning what he had tried to teach them. And imagine this truth settling over history. Hannibal did not lose because he crossed the Alps, and Rome did not win because of brute strength. Rome survived because it refused to see defeat the way every other empire would have, proving that the real madness was never elephants on icy mountains, but a republic that learned how to endure punishment beyond reason, showing that history is not always decided by who strikes hardest, but by who understands the lesson hidden inside catastrophe and refuses to break when the world expects them to fall. Final thought. If Rome learned its cruelty, its empire, and its hunger for conquest by surviving Hannibal, then answer this. Did Rome defeat him? Or did Hannibal create the Rome that ruled the world?